The winter is finally over. It's time to go RVing. Welcome to Life with David. I'm David, and today it's time to get ready for the camping season. My wife and I are going on a camping trip in a week, and I have to get our J-Flight 185 RB travel trailer ready for the season. So why don't you join me while I wake up our camper from its long winter storage? I'd like to spend a moment on safety. There's nothing more important than keeping you and your loved ones safe. Be sure to read, understand, and follow the safety rules for your tools. Using your tools properly will greatly reduce the risk of personal injury. And always use the appropriate eye, hearing, and respiratory personal protective equipment. This project has a bunch of risks to watch out for. Chemicals, electricity, explosions, and crushing, just to name a few. Keep your head in the game, and if you don't feel comfortable working with these things, then hire a professional. And always follow your RV manufacturer's instruction manual. Now let's get started. Our trailer is usually under covered storage about 5 miles away. However, I tow it to our house to work on it. So let's get it ready for the 5-mile journey. First, I inspect the interior, and I close all the cabinet doors I opened last fall to allow for air circulation during the winter. Then I have to install the battery. I usually keep my battery on a tender during the winter, however this is a new battery. Make sure you do not bridge across the terminals of the battery with a wrench. The huge spark will definitely get your attention and could hurt you. Then I install the 30 amp fuse for the trailer electrical system. Finally, I put the cover back on the battery box. Next, I hitch up the trailer, attach the safety chains, attach the breakaway brake cable, and plug in the trailer electrical plug. Next, I check the tire pressure and adjust as necessary to meet the manufacturer's specifications. Then I turn on the emergency flashers and verify the stop and directional lights still work. I also check the tail and marker lights for proper operation. On the way home, I check that the electric brakes are working properly. Now that I got the trailer home, it's time to dewinterize and sterilize the potable water system. First, I will reinstall the hot rod electric heating element into the hot water heater. I removed it last fall in order to drain the hot water tank. Use a little Teflon tape on the threads and only snug it up. Don't over tighten it or something will break. Next, I close the low point drain valves for the fresh water tank and the hot and cold water piping. Then I verify the water valve positions. Water tank to pump open, antifreeze to pump closed, water heater inlet open, water heater outlet open, water heater bypass closed. Also make sure that the water pump strainer is cleaned and properly closed. Then close the sink and tub faucets. Now mix up a chlorine solution for sterilizing the potable water system. Jayco recommends using 1/4 cup of chlorine for every 15 gallons of freshwater tank capacity. Since mine is just under 30 gallons, I'll use a 1/2 cup. I'll add a couple gallons of water to the water tote and then pour the mixture into the freshwater tank. Fill the tank the rest of the way with fresh water and then turn on the water pump. It will take a while to fill the empty 6-gallon hot water tank. Open the sink faucets until water comes out of both the hot and cold water sides. Then do the same for the bathtub. I air purged my water lines in the winter. If I had used RV antifreeze, I would run the water until it came out clear with a strong smell of chlorine. Then allow the disinfecting solution to soak for 4 hours. After 4 hours, drain the freshwater tank and pump the solution out of the hot and cold water drains until the tank is empty. Then fill the tank completely full with fresh water. Rinse out the hot and cold water lines, and then drain the freshwater tank again. Now the freshwater tank is ready to go. The next thing I want to check is the condition of the electric brakes. When I repacked the wheel bearings last year, I noticed that the springs in the left side brake assembly were incorrectly installed. This led to the electromagnet binding and scoring the brake drum. After I repaired the problem, we put a couple thousand miles on the trailer. I want to check the repair status, but I don't need to repack the bearings yet. First, I jacked up the trailer. I put chocks under the wheels and used a jack stand to keep everything safe. I removed the wheel. While it was off, I checked the conditions of the wheel and the tire. After removing the wheel, I used a rubber mallet to tap off the bearing dust seal. Then I removed the old cotter pin. After loosening the wheel nut, I pop the brake drum back to unseat the outer wheel bearing and washer. I carefully pulled off the brake drum, ensuring that no dirt got into the bearings or seal. The previous repairs looked great, so I made sure everything was clean and reassembled the brake drum. After installing the outer bearing and washer, I tightened the wheel nut while turning the drum. After the nut was tight, I loosened it slightly while not turning the drum, and then retightened it finger tight. I installed a new cotter pin and then the dust cap. I reinstalled the dust cap by tapping it on with a rubber mallet. I finished by installing the wheel and torquing the lug nuts to the manufacturer's specification of 115 foot-pounds. That covers the major items for getting the trailer ready for the season. However, we're not completely done. Now is a good time to lubricate the hitch mechanism and the stabilizer jacks. Don't forget to put a little grease on the hitch ball. Open the propane tank valve to pressurize the system. Then spray all the piping connections with a water and detergent mixture and look for bubbles which indicate leaks. If you find any leaks, correct them before continuing. Climb a ladder and examine the roof. Look for cracks in the membrane and the sealant. Also inspect the caulking around the windows, doors, and other openings. Repair any flaws. Inspect the shore power cord for any nicks or splits in the insulation or damage to the plug. Repair any damage before plugging into an appropriate power source. Test the GFCI, smoke detector, and propane carbon monoxide monitor. Correct any deficiencies. pilot lights of all the propane devices. Finally, check all the lights and replace any burned out bulbs. Thanks for joining me today. I'm really looking forward to camping this year, and having a reliable rig makes it safer and more enjoyable. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If not, give it a thumbs down. And leave a comment or suggestion for things to do. I hope to do more of these videos, so please subscribe and click on the bell for notifications of new videos. Let's get together next time for another day in Life with David. See you soon.